Hi, folks. Welcome to the webinar on Service Desk Plus. Service Desk is your best technology coach. Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending upon where you're joining us from today. I'm Aditya Oswal from Manage Engine, and I thank you all for joining us for this session. I'm delighted to have you all with us today, and I hope you and your loved ones are all safe and sound. Well, today we have a very special, very experienced IT coach and blogger with us. So please join me in welcoming Daniel Breston. Today, he will guide us through this topic. The Service Desk is your best technology coach, where we'll discuss customer wants, importance of Service Desk, how Service Desk could help improve your IT decisions. So, Daniel, welcome again. So, and
Thank you.
Yeah. Before we begin the session, let me give you all a short introduction about our organization, Manage Engine. So, Manage Engine is the enterprise IT division of Zoho Corporation. Our products are in the spectrum of the real-time IT management, and they range from unified endpoint management, IT operations management, identity and access management, security and event management, advanced IT analytics, various cloud solutions, to IT management for managed service providers. We also have over 200 partners across the globe, helping various organizations tightly align their businesses with IT. So, if you're interested in knowing more about us, please visit manageengine.com. And I'd also like to introduce uh, our enterprise IT management product, IT service management product, Services Plus. So Services Plus is a flagship product, managing this flagship product, and it's available as both on-premise and cloud solution. Services Plus is a full-stack ITSM suite incorporated with all the best ITSM best practices, including incident, problem, change management, asset and CMDB management, service catalog, reporting and analytics, as well as a wide variety of native and third-party integrations. So, folks, don't forget to check out servicesplus.com if you want to learn more about it. And well, that's all about us. So, uh, before we start the session, I'd like to introduce our guest of the day. Uh, so, hailing from the University of Houston, Daniel Bresson is a highly experienced freelance IT coach and blogger. He's had an interesting career and has seen almost all IT roles from service desk to CIO over the span of 50 years. He's a board member of ITSMF UK, and he's held positions like principal and consultant coach, CIO, director, IT service and operations management manager in various financial organizations. He's also a fellow in British Computer Society and Institute of Service Management. And apart from that, he's also been an active contributor to SIAM, DevOps, ITSM, and Lean IT. Now, Daniel is retiring from the industry, but he's keen to impart knowledge and wisdom that he's gathered over the years of his professional career. Now, without wasting any further time, I'd like to hand over the session to Daniel.
Thank you very much for the very nice introduction, Adi. So just very quickly, we're going to talk about the service desk and what I believe the service desk knows and how it can help leaders at any level in the organization do things better, faster, safer within their organization to service customers and create products that really matter. As Adi said, I've been involved in IT all of my life. I haven't done anything differently, and I've always relied on the service desk to be what I think the most important part of the organization. So this is what this entire discussion is about. And the reason why I feel that way is because, let's face it, what does the customer want? The customer doesn't actually want to ever call us. They don't want to spend time with your service desk. They just want to do what they want to do, and they like to do it now, please. And when they do call, they want you to be able to help them first time. They don't want to hear that they're going to be transferred. They don't want to hear that you'll get back to them. They don't want to go through an unpleasant experience of trying to have to chat to an app first before they get in touch with a real person that can help them. They want secure data. They just want things made to order by request, which is the word custom, which is part of customer. So if you look up the definition of, custom, it's they'd like something, and you've said that you will create that something for them when they want it. So it's very important for you to recognize that. When I talk the word customer, I'm not just talking about people that are external to your organization. Everyone that uses the technology that you're providing, that you're hosting, is a customer to you. So internal customers, external customers, all types of people nowadays are, your customers. And when the world went to the internet to be able to host their services and products, your customer reach, your global customer reach, involved you in a bunch of different cultures and attitudes, and you need to be able to do all those things to order by request for them. What I typically find when I go to organizations, though, is that they're all about the technology. They're not about the way that people interact. They don't look at the attitude of people. They don't look at the behaviors of people, and they don't see how that impacts the culture. They show me diagrams like this, which, while interesting, actually, I don't see the customer on here. I see a bunch of tools and toys, but it doesn't tell me exactly how you're going to interface to anyone that matters. And remember that without customers, well, your organization doesn't exist. So the role of the service desk at any level in your organization is that they know stuff. They know all of the good technology that's in use and also all the not so good. They know all the good people inside your organization from an internal user perspective, or people that can help them perspective, or vendors that can, make them look good. And they know all the people that aren't so good. They also know all the things that make customers angry. I mean, that's what they get all day long. They get people that are asking them questions. They're getting people that are annoyed. They're getting people that don't really want to spend a lot of time with them. And so, as friendly and stuff as they are, they know how to go back to senior management and go, you know what, we're wasting people's times. And because we're wasting people's time, they might be happy with us one or two times, but after the third time or fourth time that they have to call us to get things working again, they're going to move to somebody else. And that was the good or bad thing about COVID. Before, you really had to look for someone that was online, that had something that you wanted. Now it's getting easier and easier to find another product that can replace the product that you were using. It doesn't really help internal people, but if your internal people can't do their job correctly and the service desk can't help them, then your external customers are going to go elsewhere and you're going to be out of business. And that's a real problem for leaders. This iceberg of ignorance was created back in the 60s by a student working on his PhD. And over time, people have verified more or less the numbers. But think about this. The higher up you go in an organization, the more and more I was, promoted in the organization, the more and more I was learning from reports, which meant that the data that I was taking into my head to make decisions was stale. It was old. I really didn't know what was going on. And when I asked my managers, they really didn't know what was going on because they'd spent so much time trying to create the reports that I was reading. So they turned around to their teams who sometimes knew, sometimes didn't know, but everybody went back to the service desk, and the service desk had all the information. They had all the information inside their tool. They had all the information inside their head, because this is what they dealt with on a regular basis. So the question that I'm going to ask you as an audience is, how do you go from the knowledge that the service desk has and impart that real time to the rest of the organization? How do you use and benefit from the service desk in such a way that your decision making, your problem solving, your incident resolution times, your business continuity, your financial management, your budgeting toward things that are working versus things that aren't really working or helping anybody, are all incorporated by this information that the desk has. So that's what this diagram is trying to show. So let's talk about a coach for a second. What is a coach? When I started back in the 1970s, we didn't have ITIL. We didn't have Scrum. I mean, they came up in 1986, 1987. We didn't have Agile, which came around in 2001. We didn't have DevOps. We didn't have all these things. We had to learn from each other. And one of the things that I depended upon were the practices of Lean, because Lean was coming out. The practices from Toyota that had been renamed Lean was coming out and saying, look, everybody, if you want to improve in life, you should have coaches. You should have individuals, sensei, mentors, whatever word you'd like to put about it, that is helping you improve. And Harvard Business Review wrote a very interesting article several years ago. It basically said you need to have 3 of those. The first person that you need to have is someone above you, someone who knows more about stuff than you do. It can be internal or external, it really doesn't matter. I have at least one of each. I have several of these people that I call upon frequently to let me know what's going on or how to improve my knowledge and the way that I do things. You then have somebody that's at your peer level because they're stuck in the same way that you're stuck. And what you need to be able to do is say, let's work together to get ourselves unstuck. Mentally unstuck, or the process that we're trying to work on unstuck, or just regular improvement. You can take advantage of lots of different ways of doing that. I like value stream mapping, which in ITIL 4 or DevOps has really embraced that. Scrum retrospectives, Kanban board visualizations. We will talk about visualization in a little bit and the importance of that. But then Harvard Business Review said, you know what? You need to have somebody junior to you. And the reason why is because they observe things that you don't see. And I thought about that and I went, you know what? Sherlock Holmes, when he was talking to Watson one day, said, Watson, you see, but you don't observe. And when Watson said, I don't understand you, Sherlock asked Watson, for the last 2 years, we've been living in this flat. You've climbed up the steps every day to get to this flat. How many steps are there? And Watson could not say. And Sherlock looked at him and said, you see the steps, but you don't observe. And that's the problem with senior leadership. We see all the issues that are going around us. We hear all the issues that are going around us, but we don't actually know the impact. So going out and actually talking to the service desk, going out and talking to end users or people, and then asking the service desk to come with you is actually an excellent practice for any team leader, whether they're called product owner or Scrum coach or manager of IT or COO or CFO. When you take a walk around the organization, take somebody from the service desk with you. When you're getting ready to start a board meeting or a senior level management meeting, open it with somebody from the service desk. Ask the service desk to be able to lead what you're trying to do in the organization in terms of improvement, and get their opinion on, if we do this, does that actually help anybody? Because the desk is the first place that people come to, and what you want to do is you want to shift left from that experience to whatever else that you're going to be doing. I mean, the desk can address all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to read all these things, but some of the examples that I have are, the desk knew that we were using a vendor and paying them a heck of a lot of money, and that vendor actually wasn't helping us in any way, shape, or form to service our customers. So the question then was, do we need to continue to use that vendor? This wasn't reflected in any report. The desk knew that by the time they got through to the vendor and then got escalated into the vendor, and the vendor came back with a solution, several hours had gone by. Have you ever quantified your incident management process, the value stream of resolving something in such a way that you actually know the cost and the time and the impact to your organization? This is what the desk is capable of helping you with. The desk can go, that was a really cool thing that we did the other day. Lots of people have let us know that. They've come into chat, they've sent us messages, they said, thank you very much, give us more of this. I mean, there's one thing to try to go and measure customer satisfaction with fancy tools. There's another thing to actually go to the people that talk to the customers and get, real world impact. So I got to the point in time where I would spend, and I would force myself to spend, at least an hour a week with the service desk as a CIO. And I would ask my direct reports to spend an hour a week with the service desk in their roles. And I expected our meetings to be partly run, our weekly management meetings, to be partly run by the information that we gathered. So our action and decision logs had lots of information and lots of challenges that had been given to us by the service desk. I took this page from Manage Engine. Some of you will say, well, you did that because they're sponsoring you. That's actually not true. I took this page because when you look at these solutions, do you see the customer in them? Active Directory management. Well, if the customers can't actively get in to do anything, then is your Active Directory management actually working the way that you want it to? Who are you asking to be able to help you with that? Networks and servers. Networks are your lifeblood now. If your network is having an issue, if your applications are having an issue, then no one is doing anything, and that's costing you time and money. The whole world has gone to remote. Is that secure? Are you breaking laws? What happens if your cloud solution fails and all of a sudden you're bounced into a region that you really shouldn't be inside of? How many people really know the passwords and stuff like that is going to be causing you issues? Can you figure out a way to be able to incorporate the services that you have and integrate them in such a way that a managed service provider provides you with the information that you need on a real-time basis to do things better, faster, safer, and with more satisfaction to the entire world? So these are all the things that I look at when I look at these key solutions. I work backwards to the desk. And I go, the service desk is not just help desk management. The service desk is actually part of every one of these components. And if I haven't included them with that, not only have I missed a trick, but I've put the organization at risk. I took these two diagrams, and I apologize to Axelos. I should have noted the fact that the diagram on the left is from ITIL 4, and it's Axelos branded. But I see these two diagrams, ITIL 4 on the left and the DevOps Infinity Loop on the right. And I want to tell you right now, folks, that they're the same. If I see a cloud and Addie sees a cloud, and we both take a pen and paper to it, we're going to come up with two different images of the same cloud. This is technology. How you're going to introduce technology to your organization to be able to have the organization do things in an effective and efficient way. Both diagrams are trying to show you that same thing. Whether you use the thing on the left or you use the thing on the right, the service desk is involved in every one of those steps. Demand. Hey, service desk, we're getting these types of requests. We see that in your tool that you've given us, and we see that in the things that you tell us in our hour-long chats with you. So how can we take that demand and match it up against the things that we think we're supposed to be doing for the organization to make sure that what we're doing is actually creating any type of value, aka doesn't matter to anyone? How do we engage the end users and customers to help us obtain and build and design and service and improve our products and services? That's what you should be looking at when you look at these two diagrams. And the service desk, in my mind, has a role in every one of these. So if you create a RACI chart, or if you create a SIPOC, or whatever practices you have, in this, in your retrospectives, in your improvement sessions, you need to have the service desk involved so that every one of these steps is as effective and efficient as possible for your organization. I truly believe in value stream management, but I believe even more in visualizing stuff. If you visualize things and you put it out into the common areas, people will come and they will look and they will comment and they will give you ideas, and you'll be able to do things faster than you ever thought. Leadership leads value stream mapping and management. Leadership is the one that can make the decisions that say, we can do this and we can do that, and let's get this done now. And so that when you take these ideas out into the real world, you're taking the service desk with you, and they become your marketing team. We in technology want to do this, this, and this to be able to help the organization. And because we're doing that, the service desk is actually going to be co-leading this for us, because they're going to be the ones to gather real information for us as to whether or not our improvement ideas or our plans or our new features or the services that we want to do or the changes that we want to have or the company we're about to merge with, our service desk is going to be helping us do these things in a secure and safe manner. So visualization management, value stream mapping, looking at your various tools and mapping them across this, which is what the diagram on the right would show if you could actually see it. But everything is underlaid there, not just what's being done, but who's doing it, the data flow, the whole bit. And that will show you your gaps. And you can look back at the service desk and go, did you guys know this? And they'll go, yeah, we knew this. Because you never asked us, but we knew this. So the question then is how do you take this type of information and get it out of them in such a way that you as a leader, no matter your level in the organization, can actually improve stuff? And that's what the goal of value stream mapping and management is. So it's a great exercise to have, but make sure that you have the desk with you. And this is Leaders Take a Walk. So what you're looking at here is you're looking at a gentleman that learned the hard way that he needed to go out into the organization and learn from the organization. So these pictures are actually him in various parts of the organization. When I first met him, his calendar, because he was a CTO, was 90 to 95% meeting time. And after 6 months, he realized that what he needed to do was to get his meeting time to be only 30%. The rest of the time was walking throughout the buildings of business that he was the CTO for, meeting vendors that he was using or that the business was using, even if they weren't technology related, having customer groups come to him with ideas, asking people questions, and wherever he went, he had somebody from the desk with him. He used the desk to see things and hear things that he didn't, because he realized that what he saw and observed from his level of the organization and what the desk saw and learned from their level of the organization needed to map together to do any type of improvement and make sure that what they were doing was actually helping people and satisfying people and not making them angry. So take a walk. Ask somebody from the service desk to walk with you. Ask them to take notes. Ask them to talk to you afterwards. Buy them a donut or a coffee afterwards and see what impression they got of what you saw. You'll be surprised at the differences that they see that you didn't pick up on, even though you were both looking at the same thing. And from that, you can go back to your technology teams or your business teams and say, okay, we need to do things better, faster, and safer. The way that we're going to do that is, to work with you and then come back and actually visualize this. In the world of lean, this is called Gemba. So Gemba is the art of taking a walk around the organization, respectfully trying to find out what's really going on, and listening to people in such a way that you're observing what they're doing, not just seeing whether or not the IT monitor is on. Paul Wilkinson of Gaming Works runs business simulations. He runs ITIL business simulations. He runs DevOps simulations. He does attitude business and culture simulations. He does all sorts of simulations. But at the end of each one of these, or actually during them, he also puts up a leadership learning dashboard. And I love this. When I first saw this years ago from Paul, I made it part of my way of working. And what happens is that every day you go to this board. It can be a virtual whiteboard using Miro or Mural, or it can be a real whiteboard. And you put a Post-it note up on it. And you go, what did I learn or discover today? I would use two different Post-it notes, colors. I had a green Post-it note for the good stuff that I learned, and I had a red Post-it note for the things that, I was concerned about. From that, I went, what can I use in day-to-day work, or what can I use in such a way that we can, start to improve things? And then what actions are we going to start taking today? And we started to build dashboards that work through these different concepts in such a way that I got the actual, the organization, or Paul has gotten the organizations, to stop using Amber. Think about that for a second. I would venture to say that a large majority of you have red, amber, and green reports. And the question I have for you is, what's amber really showing you? What would happen if you got rid of amber? What would happen if you made red a friendly color, a safe color, a color that says, look, we're stuck. We have an issue. We'd like to raise our hand and ask a question. Something simple. In Toyota, managers go to courses and they learn how to say, when someone raises their hand, when someone pulls what's called an andon cord that stops the factory line, the first words that should come out of their mouth as the management converges on that individual is, thank you very much for bringing something to our attention. How can we help? Imagine your leaders coming into your organization and saying, thank you for making this red. How can we help? How can we get this back to green? And this is what the purpose of this board, or one of the purposes of this board is, because You don't want to force the issue of green Post-it notes or the color green. You want to force the issue of improvement. And so I like red. I don't mind red on this board. It tells me that we've got things that we can still improve. Fantastic. Because if we improve, then we're helping our internal staff in what they want to do and how they want to do it. And we're also helping our external customers because they'll see the impact of that. So my final thoughts, do you know who your real customers are? Do you know internally and externally what problems they have or what issues they have or what things they really need? I don't mean on a monthly basis. I mean on a daily basis. Things are very fast nowadays. It only takes me 4 or 5 clicks to find another product that will replace you. AI, machine learning, Alexa, give me something else, please. You now have a new target customer. So how do you know that they have these problems, and how do you know that you're solving their problems? The service desk can help you with that. They know how to track this stuff. Lost call time, well, that's a nice metric. How often do you actually look at, did we resolve the issue and in what time? What did we do to make sure that we don't get those types of phone calls again? What's our real annoyances? Can we take these requests and automate them? How can we help and benefit from AI or machine learning to figure out what we should be doing next, really? What can you do to take advantage of the knowledge that suppliers and vendors and partners have? I mean, you saw the products that were on the manage engine slide. They've got a lot of knowledge. Let's take advantage of that. Let's ask them to help us do things better, faster, safer. And that's what I think the service desk plays a role in each one of these images, because they have this information, and you as a leader need to say, you know what? I don't know it all. Actually, I'm not paid to know it all. What I'm paid to do is to remove obstacles. What I'm paid to do is to look at all the people in the organization, even if they don't necessarily work for me, and ask myself on a daily basis, have I helped the organization today do stuff better than what they did yesterday? Because if I haven't done that, I should be fired, which I think we've already gone through, so I won't belabor that, so we can get rid of that. I've been in IT for a long time, and I like sharing the stuff that I know, and I like to thank Manage Engine for giving me this opportunity. The service desk, for me, is the most important part of any organization in technology, because they're the ones that are the face of that organization. No matter what else is behind that service desk, nobody cares. If your service desk doesn't reflect that, you've lost a customer, and that's a bad plan. So if you have any questions, if you want to pick my brain some more about this stuff, please post it, and Addie and I will start to answer them.
Let's check out the questions if you have, folks. If you have any questions, please let us know. Daniel would be glad to answer them.
And one question that I get very often when I do these in live environments is, how do you get the leader to use the service desk and spend more time outside of his office? And we asked a CIO to take off his coat, hang it up in his office, and before he even signed on, go to the service desk for 15 minutes and do nothing but listen. What was the buzz in the room? What was the buzz around the service desk? Are they stressed? Are the phones lit up? Just listen. If you don't want to do it for 15 minutes, do it for 10 minutes. But you can get a flavor of what's happening in your organization just by listening to the desk. or listening to the way that a team is working and the struggles that they're having or not having.
Right.
And then go back to your office and go, right, whatever meetings I have today, is it going to help me overcome whatever I just heard? The meetings that aren't going to do that, delegate someone else to go to them. The meetings that are going to do that will go to those things, but then make sure that everything that comes out of it, there's an action and a decision to address what you're seeing. Over time, your walks are going to start to get longer. So now you're going to go from, 30 hours of meetings to 20 hours of meetings to 15 hours of meetings to 10 hours of meetings. And actually, the information that you're going to be gathering now is going to be a heck of a lot more relevant to the organization than anything you were doing looking at a piece of paper and bar graphs.
So Daniel, one person has a question. What are the top skills you think people need to work on a service desk? So would you like to?
The top skills. I think the top skill that a person on the service desk needs to have is listening.
Okay.
If you think of the word listen, if you rearrange the letters, it's silent. Okay, so you need to listen.
Okay. So we have another question. So
Yep.
what are the most important pain points did you observe in problem management practices?
So this is where people in the world of IT service management hate me, because I actually don't like problem management. Okay, I like the term resolution management. So think about all the different practices that are involved in resolving a problem. There's logging it, there's figuring out whether or not you can deal with it. Those are the things that most people call incident management. There's the question of, can I solve it or can't I solve it? If I can't solve it, that's a problem. If I can solve it, who do I need to help me solve it with? Okay. How do I know that I've solved it? How do I know that I've solved it securely? What do I have to do to release that resolution out? And who do I need to get it to approve that release? So resolution management is a group of incident, problem, change, release, security, sometimes business continuity, communications. Sometimes you have to buy something, budgeting. So I don't focus on problem management practices. Focus on the concept of resolution management and understand what that value stream is, because that's the only one that anyone really cares about.
Right. I got your point. So okay, so I guess that answers your question.
Yeah.
Um,
Nowadays, the service desk is in India and the CIO is in the US. IT managers are spread around the world. How can we achieve what you explained in the current environment?
yeah, that's amazing.
How many of you are around the world today? I would venture to say that, lots of people are in lots of different locations that are listening to this. I have absolutely no problem with the CIO or some manager putting some technology into the service desk. And when they come in the morning and they log on and they're having their first cup of coffee, they just sit there in mute, listening to what's happening in the service desk. And they can see what's happening. And if they want to ask a question, they can ask a question. Let me know more about this. Think about the fact now that lots of organizations in their tools are integrating Alexa or Siri into their tools. Back when I was a CIO, I had to go ask somebody to tell me what was going on. Nowadays, I just go, Alexa, Siri, hey, how many incidents do we have open? I just bypassed the entire service desk. So as a CIO, look at the automation and technology that you have and figure out how you can best use it. And that's going to help the service desk get leadership information that's really relevant and important. And I think that's a collaborative discussion between the people that are in charge and the people that they depend upon, no matter where they are.
And Daniel, we have two more questions for you. So
Okay.
one person wants to know. So he wants to know your opinions regarding SLAs. Basically, how strict should support managers be in regards to breaking the SLAs? In the questions tab, you can
How
see.
strict should a support manager be in regards to breaking an SLA? Yeah, break them. If you don't break them, you can't learn.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember that a service level agreement in most organizations is written by someone. And what they forget to do is that it's an agreement. So Addie, I've written a service level agreement.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you sign it, and I'm not going to let you tell me whether or not it's really good or not. But this is the service level agreement for that particular thing that you use every day.
Yeah.
And if it breaks, and I come back to you and go, hey, the service level agreement said as long as I had it back up in 2 hours again, but you as an external customer just lost $5 million, okay?
Yeah.
You're not going to care about my service level agreement.
Right.
You're going to care about the fact I just cost you $5 million. You're going to tell me in certain words that are very clear what I can do with my service desk, with my service level agreement. So the question is if you have an SLA, how do you turn it into an experience level agreement, an XLA? How do you turn it into a customer level experience document? And the only way you can do that is to have multiple people help to create the agreement and also have those multiple people sign the fact that they've agreed this is the way services should work and the level of expectation. Okay. I like looking at priority 2 incidents, and I like getting priority 2 incidents to be as important as priority 1 incidents. It's a great challenge to have. Pick your top 5 priority 2 incidents and go, guys, I want these resolved in a month. I don't know how you're going to do that. I'm just here to remove obstacles. And that's going to help drive your SLAs to be better than they've ever been before. Service desks are very much reactive. Why? Why are they reactive? A service desk should have the capability to know what's going on through the entire process of we have an idea. This is what we think that idea is going to do. This is what we think this idea, how this idea is going to work. And somebody from the service desk should be going, hey guys, that won't work. Hey guys, we're going to need this. Hey guys, I think you could take advantage of this tool set. Hey guys, this vendor is garbage and don't go there. If you've made the service desk reactive, you need to get them more involved into the world. You need to look at the concepts of agile IT service management and figure out how you can make them as robust as possible. Let the service desk have retrospectives and let them feed back issues. Use Jira and Confluence or use your management, your ITSM tool to pass stuff to other teams and then make sure that they improve it. I mean, that's what's going to take the service desk from reactive to part of the organization on a regular basis. With the growth of tech such as AI, chatbots, etc., how do you think the service desk will evolve? I think that AI and chatbots, when it comes to self-service or when it comes to working with customers, those aspects should be owned by the service desk. They work with the product owner. They go back and they put into the chatbots or into the AI. This is the type of response and stuff that you should give, and these are the questions that you should ask, and these are the things that you should say back, because this is what I would do if you were talking to me in person. So instead of having a product owner or some developer who thinks they know what the heck is supposed to be said, have the people that are actually involved on a daily basis dealing with customers take care of that. And so the service desk in my world has a future going out forever. because they're the ones who are teaching the organization how to service customers. I mean, that is the first word in service, right?
Right. So I think related to chatbots, we had one more question in the chat box. So,
Yep.
is it the right approach to put chatbots in front of service just for answering users' queries?
Yes, it's an approach. Whether or not it's the right approach depends on whether or not your customer feedback in the world of Twitter or however you're gathering information. Okay. You know, I go to a chat box and I ask a question. The management information that should come out of that is how many times has this question been asked and did it resolve the issue? And did they ask another question afterwards? Or did they go to Twitter and start tweeting about me in a way that I don't really appreciate and I don't want in the world of Twitter? So chatbots need to be managed by the service desk, and the service desk needs to be able to go, I'm going to turn chatbots off because we actually need to be involved here. Chat's confusing things from making things work.
Okay, I guess that answers Kavita's questions. So, folks, if you have any other question, please let us know. Otherwise, I think uh, we can end the session. Right.
Thank you very much, Addie. Thank you, Manage Engine, for
Okay.
having me. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this. If you have questions, come find us, please, in social media.
Thank you, Daniel, for answering all these questions and for this really informative session. Uh, I personally enjoyed it a lot. I learned a lot, and I hope folks who have joined the session have also, got a lot of takeaways that they could really apply in their real life session and make better IT decisions in their organizations. And folks, we will be sending the recording of the session in a couple of days. Hope you've all enjoyed the session. And yes, please reach out to us at the hello@servicesplus.com if you have any queries. And thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Daniel, again.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Stay safe.